What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim, back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about the meltdown that is Diablo Immortal. What is going on? Well, in case you aren't aware, BlizzCon 2018 kicked off today. It is a beloved event by me and many other people around the world who celebrate and embrace Blizzard Entertainment and all of their products: Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch. It is very apparent that the Activision Blizzard has slowly started to rear its head into Blizzard, and a lot of us who are hardcore Blizzard fans have always wondered, when would that deciding moment be? This may be that moment when Activision forces Blizzard into doing something that they themselves might not be comfortable in doing on their own. So today was the big press conference. That's when all of the various entities that I just mentioned stand up in front of a cast of thousands there and millions worldwide and watch the opening ceremonies of BlizzCon. And when it came to Diablo, I did a video on this some time ago about Diablo 4 versus Diablo Immortal. It turns out that Blizzard said, hey, we are not here to announce a formal successor to Diablo 3. We'll call that Diablo 4 for lack of a better name at this point. We are not announcing that. So we knew that going into it, that Diablo 4 was not going to be on the table. We knew Diablo Switch was coming out. There was kind of lackluster Diablo 3 news, and we all waited in anticipation. And what were we greeted with? We were greeted with this guy right here, Wyatt Chang, who is kind of the CEO of Diablo, if you want to think of him that way. He's the overarching game director, so he kind of has final say on the franchise and what direction it goes in. Today he unveiled the video that I have paused over there. That is the Immortal cinematic trailer, and I'm leaving it paused because I don't want to get copyright stricken, because this is ridiculous. Blizzard's actively going after this. But you'll notice that it has 524,000 views, of which 4,000 upvotes and 128,000 downvotes, which is a pretty large number. So what is going on? Well, Diablo Immortal was announced as a mobile game, and a lot of people are sensitive to when a major franchise goes mobile because we see what has happened in the past. Dungeon Keeper, Command and Conquer Rivals, and now this. All games that had a respected computer variant went to a mobile platform, did not receive the love and attention they deserved, and were ultimately sent out to pasture, bombarded with microtransactions, or just really lost the essence and the spirit of what the game originally was intending to be, and really came off to the fans as just a flat-out cash grab. And that is exactly what a lot of people are saying Blizzard did here, that they were Activisioned, they were sold out, that they took what could have been a great experience and all of that effort and energy, and they should have put that back into the core game, or at least put that into the next successor to the game to continue the franchise. This is not something that people were asking for. This is not something that people wanted. Now, this is definitely a very stampede slash horde mentality, knee-jerk reaction right now, where everybody's just slamming that down vote. You'll notice that I, logged into my account, have not voted up or down because I am somewhat neutral on it. But a lot of people, just like that infamous EA comment when they were talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2 and how they talked about, you have to earn that progression, and that's the most downvoted Reddit comment in the world of history of Reddit ever. This is very quickly shaping up to be that on the YouTube front of a very just bashed game, and no one knows much about it yet. We've only seen a cinematic trailer and some very small gameplay, and some hands-on video from press companies on the show floor, all of which are panning the game. There's a lot of problems with this game, and I think that might also be triggering a lot of this negativity. It's not made by Blizzard Entertainment proper. It's subbed out to another company. And through some quick internet sleuthing, some eagle-eye Redditors and gaffers and resetters, I don't know what we want to call them for short, have found out that this appears to be largely an asset flip from another lesser known RPG type game, just with the Diablo logo and some basic lore tacked on over the top of it, and that Blizzard is trying to sell it as this some grand masterpiece that they built up from the trenches from day one, when most people are saying that's not what this is. This is very clearly an asset flip, a rebranding, a reskinning of an old game that just isn't really doing it for us. Now, this is no new thing in the industry. This has been happening for an extremely long time, where game companies will absorb other properties and try to make a quick buck, so to speak, and do an asset flip of some sort and shovel it out for public consumption. The problem is our beloved Blizzard has never done wrong by us in modern era. If you look at Diablo 1 and you look at Diablo 2 and Warcraft, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone, StarCraft, StarCraft 2, and all the subsequent games therein, they've always been high quality, high polished games that we were proud of. And that is why Blizzard and the whole umbrella under Blizzard Entertainment is such a revered thing to a lot of us gamers. And it really is a family of gamers who are really passionate about these products. I mean, my wife and I flew across the country 3 times to go to various BlizzCon's because we loved being in that environment with other fans. That's just the kind of almost cult-like mentality that this company has on us. So it's really reeling for us to take a step back and to say, well, geez, like, you guys actually made a mistake? Like, the mighty Blizzard has fallen? That doesn't mean that if you don't like Diablo Immortal, the other franchises, which are glorious, are going to be diminished in any capacity. But this is just that first crack in the armor. This was always that concern that we had when Activision and Blizzard merged. That Activision would slowly start weaseling in, and maybe big bad Activision is to blame. Now, was that to be true? We can't say for sure. It's easy to blame somebody because our precious Blizzard couldn't be at fault, right? And, you know, Wyatt would never do that to us. He loves us. He's been our guy. He's been our champion ever since Jay Wilson left and Wyatt cleaned up and fixed the Diablo franchise and made it into a great game with Diablo 3 and all the subsequent expansions therein. Now, the question is this going to blow over? And I think the answer is no. But the bigger question is, what is the lasting impact on this? And how is this going to impact other things? We've already seen that video going around of the red shirt guy walking up onto the stage during a Q&A session at the Diablo Immortal panel and asking them, is this some kind of sick April Fool's joke? And the audience eats it up and everybody's clapping and cheering. And the Blizzard guys do their best to do some high-level damage control to explain that, no, this is really happening. The problem with that is it's now funny to jab on Blizzard, and it only takes a little bit to slowly start whittling this. Now, will this game vanish and go away? I don't know. Will it be repolished? I don't know. Clearly, it went in a direction that fans were not satisfied with, and that is largely why you are seeing this huge amount of downvotes on a precious, beloved Blizzard title. I'm not quite sure how this one's going to play out just yet. Media is definitely picked up on the story. A lot of people are disappointed by what they saw. This is not what we wanted to see. And I mean, it's just a random screenshot that I took, but I mean, you could tell that Wyatt's face right there, he just doesn't look happy. Now, obviously, I mean, I could hit play and he's going to start smiling and stuff, but I just feel that there's some sadness there, and it makes me wonder how much of this was thrown on these guys and they're just trying to serve that crap sandwich to us with a smile on their face. But if this really is the direction that Blizzard wants to go in, they want to start taking some of their major franchises and putting them on other platforms in a lesser, watered-down version, they may be in for a world of hurt in that sense, because clearly that's not the direction the hardcore PC gamers want the company to go in. And I'll close by saying that me personally, somewhat frustrated here, I wish that these great ideas and these great novelizations were rolled back into the game. And I feel that Blizzard is wasting their time appeasing a cell phone market when their core business, built around the Battle.net framework is thriving and is doing well, and people are loving what they are already doing. I'm not saying that companies shouldn't be stagnant or should be stagnant and should not try to experiment with other forms of media, but just in my small circle of friends, everybody universally hates this. And looking at the larger media at the whole on the YouTube channel, with that count, people largely hate this as well. So we'll have to wait and see, but I wanted to try to just put some context in this because I'm seeing a lot of this just blow up at an alarming rate. And I wanted to do a video on it, somewhat supporting Blizzard because they obviously do mean a lot to me. You see the artwork on the wall behind me, but to try to frame it in a sense that not just Blizzard is the big bad, Activision may be somewhat responsible. Maybe this is a homegrown initiative from Blizzard and they feel like this is something they need to do. I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that they are in a lot of trouble right now. And this was a very weak BlizzCon, and they're going to have to really think over the next couple weeks and months in terms of how they want to assess this damage control, because this is not going to be getting better. If anything, it's only going to get worse. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.